Hi, I'm JD Sleep from General Guitar Gadgets. Today I'd like to do a quick overview of using an ABY switch box built from a General Guitar Gadgets kit as an amp channel selector box. What I have here is a 1965 Fender Bandmaster. Just to let you know a little bit about the amp, it's a 2-channel amp, and each channel is has a tube preamp. And both of those tube preamps, one for each channel, run in parallel and then go into the power amp. And so each of these preamp channels also has 2 inputs, and those inputs are in parallel into each preamp channel. So long ago, probably before amp channel switching was popular, a lot of people discovered in these amps that you can plug your guitar into input 1 of channel 1 of the normal channel, and then you can take a little patch cable, this is just a little patch cable, and run it from the second input of channel 1 into the second channel. So what that's doing now is it's running your signal, since these are in parallel, the guitar signal goes into the first preamp channel, the first channel preamp, and then it also gets picked up and goes through this patch cable and goes into the second preamp channel. And so what you have is you get a much fuller sound because you're running both of those preamps together in parallel into the power amp, and you can tell it is a much fuller sound, and you can also do a lot more things with the tone controls on the amp and get a lot more versatility. So a while ago I got a email from a guy, and he asked me if he could use the ABY, the Y function on an AB switch to do essentially the same thing where you're running both of those in parallel. And the answer is yes, you can. There are 68K resistors on these inputs, and so when you do it this way, you're running through. You have an inline 68K resistor going into the second channel. You wouldn't have that if you went into the Y, and whether or not you can hear that inline 68K, you'll have to decide for yourself. I can't hear the difference, but somebody with a really good ear might be able to hear that there's a 68K inline. I don't know. I can't hear it. The beauty of using the box instead of the patch cable is that you can bring us down to the floor. Now not only can you run in parallel, but you have your switches, and you can run either the first channel or the second channel, or both of them in unison, and then you also have a little bit more flexibility for running effects, different effects into each channel. So that's a little bit of an overview on how to use an ABY. I didn't plug it in, and I didn't do a demo because it's such a simple function that I didn't think a demo would be show you any more than just talking about it. The other thing that I wanted to say is that it works on this patch cable is a tip you can use, and you wouldn't even have to have an ABY switch, and you can use it this kind of thing on any of the older 2-channel Fender amps, or an older 2-channel Marshall amp, anything from the 60s and probably up into the early 70s. The amps that were built in that time, you could do this trick for. Using the ABY as a channel selector, you can use for almost any amp, whether it's old or new. For instance, if you lost your channel selector switch for your little combo amp and you still want to use channel selection, you could build one of these, or just buy an ABY switch and use that for a channel selector switch, and it is very, very useful thing. Our kits include a switching scheme that will shunt the input to the ground of the unused channel, so it's a little bit more protection against unwanted noise when you use it. So I would recommend that you go and buy one of these kits and build yourself an ABY and have some fun with channel selecting. Thanks.